Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Jennifer and you are watching the Mixtape Fiber Arts vlog. So this one is kind of going to really be winging it. I don't have my notes, my brain is a bit scattered, but now is when I have time, so let's see what happens. I didn't even put makeup on. Can you even see my face? It's probably all washed out. Anyway, so, first of all, we're going to cover some things today. I clearly am not wearing any knitting right now. It's starting to get, it was a little warm again today when we went out here in Arizona. So I just got back in and I don't have any knitting on normally. I film right in the morning and so it's still chilly enough out that I can warrant wearing some knitting. But that wasn't the case today because it's actually evening right now. So no knitting. Anyway, we're going to cover what I've been working on, my whips, anything I finished and how that went, upcoming projects I'm designing. So, and then life, of course, is always at the end if you're wanting to stick around for that. I really appreciate you watching and being and spending here and spending some time with me. So, let's get right into what I've been working on. Of course, I have been working on Stephen West's Glowhair Frost Shawl. It's here behind me. And I have not, unfortunately, gotten along very far since the last time. And that is because just a bit of a life, touching with life here. I have been going through a job application process and it required 4 separate interviews. And 2 of those just happened in the last week. And thankfully I did get the position. So I have been very busy setting up a new office and filling out paperwork and all that kind of stuff. We'll go into more of that when I hit life. But it did kind of impact the amount of knitting I've been able to get done. So here is where I'm at. And of course I'm in like the middle of a row, super inconvenient, but maybe you can see. So since last time you saw this, I have added all of this up here, this whole section up here. The darker maroon right here is where I've just started a lace pattern. And this portion right here is all alternating rows of mohair, and then at the time what was the main color, so this one, and it is fantastic. It looks, I'm so happy with it, and it will eventually get done, but and of course this way is upside down. This is, I just don't want to lose stitches. Right side up would be this way, but it's really coming along nicely, and I will be excited when it's done, and by the time I'm able to wear it, it might be next winter because of how hot it gets here. I'll try and take it to some places that have aggressive air conditioning just so I can wear it. Anyway, that's how that project is going. You may have saw on not on Facebook, you may have saw on a oh my gosh, you guys. You may have saw on a YouTube post that I had finished these socks. There's sock number 1. There's sock number 2. And they're just a little too big. I used I believe a 2mm needle. And it's just, that size is just too big. It's been 2 years since I knit a pair of socks. And so I didn't remember the exact needle size I needed, but there were a few needles missing out of my Chiagu sock needle case, and this pair was not. So I had a sneaking suspicion, since it was still in there, that it was not the right size, but the pattern called for the size that I used. I didn't actually use a pattern for these, but previous patterns, I went online and looked, what do most call for? And they all suggested the size that I used. It might have actually said to use 2.5. They were, but at any rate, these are too big. I can wear them, but my feet slide around in them some. They're not quite big enough for my daughter, unfortunately. I have a very tiny foot. I wear a size 5 in women's US. And so basically I knit myself child-size socks. So I've started another pair. I'm still going to wear these around the house. But I started another pair, which is these. And you can see it is smaller because this pair has actually been through the washer and dryer. Yeah, my socks, they go through the washer and dryer. This pair has been through the washer and dryer. This one hasn't, but I have tried it on more than once. And because I'm just like, does that really fit? It does fit. So I had gone online when I noticed that some of my needles were missing and replaced them because I thought, oh, that's probably the size I should be using. And of course, I can't even see. I believe these, whatever 000 is, that's what these are. I'll put it in a little over here somewhere. It'll say what actual size that is in millimeters, but a 000 is what I'm working on now, and these fit perfect. And even after they go through the washer and dryer, they will fit perfect. This is a BFL nylon blend. I think it's 80/20 if I remember correctly. Superwash, of course, or I wouldn't put it through the washer and dryer. So they were going to hold up extremely well, and I will be excited to wear these once they are actually done. And again, it might be one of those instances where I'm just wearing them around the house because I'm cold in the air conditioning. Because once we hit mid-February and early March, I'm probably not going to be wearing wool socks out here in Arizona. Which is why it's been 2 years since I made socks to begin with. But I really like wearing them, and I like knitting them. Oh, the other thing is heel flap and turn. I have only worked this one time. Prior to that, I always did an afterthought heel. Because it's just easiest to work on, in my opinion, while you're traveling. To do a heel flap and turn with a gusset, you need to divide some stitches and do some counting, and that's not needed at all with an afterthought heel. You can just keep knitting and put it in whenever you get to some place that you can concentrate. But when you're doing a heel flap and turn, unless you're super practiced with it, you are basically stuck because you can't keep going. You need to work the heel when you get to the heel. So anyway, I'd only done it once, and I discovered that it fit my foot much better than an actual afterthought heel. So I decided to try it again with these, and I was successful. So now I kind of have the itch to just make some socks repetitively so I can actually get down how to do this heel flap and gusset without it taking so much concentration, because I really did have to kind of stop everything and count and concentrate and recount. I just was scared of messing it up. I really didn't want to have to pull it back out. So anyway, I did get it to work. That was exciting. Even though the socks are a little too big, the heel flap and gusset look great. So anyway, that was nice. Next, so last time I talked to everybody, I said I was going to try and get together just a set of dishcloths or coasters or something to throw up free on Ravelry and the website. I have accomplished that, although I did so just today, and it's not up on Ravelry or the website yet because the pattern has not been formally written. But they are just very simple coasters, but they're super cute. And I had a need for these because I have a new desk now that I do not want to get watermarks all over. So I was like, I really need some coasters, and I can make coasters, so I'll just do that. So this is just a simple slip stitch coaster. I hope you can see that. It's pretty cute. It's 100% cotton, so it can go through the washer and it can go through the dryer. It will tighten up a little bit when it goes through the dryer, but it definitely will still be usable. I haven't woven in the ends yet. So there's the back. It just looks, it's mainly garter stitch, and then you've got the slip stitch rows on front. Anybody that's been knitting for any time, probably at least a year, probably can just look at this pattern and figure it out. And that's fine with me. That's, like I said, I'm going to throw it up for free. And if you look on Ravelry, there might even be some like it already. I don't know. I just thought they were cute and I needed coasters, and I said I would put up a pattern. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to put up some pictures with some sets of these. And I'm also going to make a placemat pattern to match them, and those will be free eventually on my website and on Ravelry. I will let you guys know when that happens by putting up a YouTube post. So just give me a follow if you're wanting to know when that happens. I'll probably also make an Instagram post about that, but I don't want to promise that because with work starting, I just don't know how much social media time I'm actually going to have. So YouTube is something I know I can just stick to. I try and keep up with Instagram. It rarely happens. It just doesn't. So anyway, coasters, they're cute. They'll be free. Eventually they'll be on the website. So those are the things I've been knitting lately. I still definitely, I'm going to do the cocoon wrap I talked about designing. I don't know what they're actually called. If you do, let me know in the comments. But it's basically a big rectangle wrap with tubes on the end. You wrap it around yourself crisscross, and then you put your arms in so it's crossed in front or in back of you, and your arms are in it, and that's what keeps it wrapped around you. I'm still planning on designing that, but it may not be done until fall at this rate. We'll see how it goes. I just don't want to promise that anything will come really at a certain time right now, because of what's going on with me in this new job. And I need to definitely focus my attention on that and memorizing those new processes and things like that. And I don't want to overwhelm my brain with too much at one time. So work will definitely come before any of the hobby stuff, unfortunately. But that's life, you know. It'll actually be kind of nice to get back to an actual providing job, probably. Not that what I haven't been doing is not important, but the role change has been a bit awkward after having worked for so much of my life. To take like a 2-year hiatus and then start up again has been awkward. So anyway, life is coming into the knitting already, and I didn't even say I'm done with knitting. So I'm done with knitting. I can tell you that Stephen West has already released another shawl I want to make, which I'm not going to do because we need to start saving some more funds. I know I don't have time. That yarn is just going to sit around. I have that other yarn already, the Nightfall yarn I showed in the last vlog that was just gorgeous from Hue Loco, that I need to do a project with. Since I've gotten this position, I will definitely be following through and knitting some work appropriate tanks and a couple tees probably. I have, I think, enough yarn to do that without having to go buy any. And if I don't, it will be specific to that project. So I'll let you know. I'm sure those will be coming in the vlog at some point as I have time to start knitting on them. And the socks that I'm working on, of course, those are travel project. I'll work on them here at the house if I'm just, you know, stressed and really, really don't want to think and just really want to mindlessly knit. But for the most part, those socks are reserved for traveling until I get to the heel. And then I'll do that here at the house. By the way, those alerts, those are my phone, not you. Sorry, I forgot to silence it. But at any rate, I get to the heel, I'm going to have to stop and take a break and knit the heel here at home. And then it will become a travel project again. Because I can do the toe and the Kitchener stitch just off the top of my head. That I don't need to stop and work on that anywhere. So anyway, that's travel project. Those are going to take a while. And yes, okay. I know I told you that I would have the yarn that my son got when he took his vacation to Sweden. I totally forgot it again. I am so sorry. I will really try and make a note to have it here for the next one so I can show you to you. It is toothy and it is gorgeous and is 100% wool, and it would be a felter's dream, but I don't want to felt it. So I really need to come up with like the perfect project for it that can still kind of be Arizona friendly, which may be a little difficult, but I'll make it happen. So next time, that yarn, I am so sorry. One more knitting thing that's knitting adjacent. So are you ready? You're not. Do you see this? This is a drop spindle. And a lot of people start with spinning their own yarn on drop spindles. So my dad is a woodworker, and he can make all different things. He's just like the kind of old school crafty guy where you give him a project, he's going to make it happen. It might be with parts found from places over decades of time that he's had stored in the basement, but he will make it happen. But he also makes a lot of really gorgeous handmade ukuleles, and so he is definitely a woodworker. And anyway, he made me this drop spindle for my birthday. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at it. It's so pretty. And it's also very well balanced. I've tried to spin it on the counter, which of course is not what it's made for. But for something that's so pretty and handmade, it is definitely going to be usable, assuming I can actually get down the craft of spinning, which is in question, but I'm going to try. So I have some fiber on the way, and it'll probably be here for the next vlog, so I'll be able to show you that. And I am going to spend a little bit of free time. I don't have a ton of it, but I'm going to spend a little bit of free time attempting to spin some yarn on this drop spindle that my dad made me for my birthday. So thank you, Dad, if you're watching this. I love it. It's gorgeous, and I'm going to put a lot of effort into trying to make this work. So if you guys also do spinning, either with a drop spindle or not, let me know in the comments. Tell me how you first started learning. I know it's like taking on a whole additional new hobby, which I don't have time for, but you know, who cares? Who cares? It may take me years to get it worked out, but I am pretty determined to make good use of that drop spindle. So anyway, that concludes all of the knitting this time. I am going to move on to life now. If you want to stick around, feel free. I'd love to have you. If you were just here for the knitting, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. And if you haven't done it, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. It helps the channel grow. And you'll get alerts, so you'll be able to check in next time I post anything. And I am going to do some more tutorial videos. I have a few out there now, and they're doing fairly well. So if you would like to know when those tutorials release, then definitely give me a like and ring that bell. Okay, life. As you already know, I got the job. Yay! I'm so excited. I'm really confident I'm going to be an asset to this company. It's 100% remote, and which is fantastic because that's real. It's like my dream job, you guys. It's with a great bunch of people doing something that is helping other small businesses and medium-sized businesses, and I'm just super excited about it. So clearly a lot of my energy has the last couple weeks now been devoted towards that job and getting that position lined up. And now, of course, since it's fully remote, I have an office to set up. I currently did not have an office. We do not have room for an office. where we are at right now. So there's kind of a front den, which is where I'm sitting right now, to the house we're in. And I have put a desk literally right here. My hand is touching it. I have purchased a desk. I have purchased a new office chair. I have purchased everything, a printer, like all of these things that you need. And when I say purchase, I mean they are reimbursing me for it along with my first paycheck. But I had the responsibility, which was fantastic, of getting things that would make me comfortable. So anyway, I have spent the week working in my new office area to see how it would go, to see how the animals would react to me being in this room all day, because that's not typically where I'm at. Just to get more in the swing of like getting up early and doing some kind of computer work all day long, which I haven't done in a long time. So I think I've held up pretty well. I was really kind of sore after we assembled the standing desk, but I had a lot of help from my daughter doing that, and it's put together and it works fabulously. So I'm super happy with that. My keyboard got here while I had my daughter aerobics today. I'm super geeky, and I have spent my whole life typing all day. So through my jobs. So I knew specifically that I wanted a mechanical brown switch keyboard. And a mechanical keyboard are kind of the old school clacky ones, and the switches inside are what regulate the bounce. And so some of them are louder, some of them are softer, some of them are more tactile than others. The brown switches are both tactile and kind of medium in sound. They're not the loudest, they're definitely not the softest. But they have a really good springy feel on your fingers. And if you have any kind of arthritis, or you're just wanting to prevent it, using that type of keyboard is much better on your fingers, because the keys bounce back to your hand instead of just coming down on a hard surface. They raise back up for you. So anyway, I'm excited to set up my keyboard. I know it's a super geeky thing to be excited about, but I'm excited to get the keyboard set up so I can practice typing on it a little bit and get a little used to it before I start. And I start on the 23rd, so next week. And hopefully the rest of my setup will be here by then, because the office chair is still missing. There are a few things that aren't integral but would make me a lot more comfortable, and they are not here yet. The office chair says it will get here somewhere between the 16th and the 22nd. And I start on the 21st. So I can just picture, or on the 23rd. So I can just picture this chair is going to show up at like 10 p.m., which is the latest Amazon delivers. It's going to show up at 10 p.m. on the 22nd, and I'm going to be up at midnight trying to assemble this thing. And I will hopefully not be a wreck the next day. Really, I just need this chair to show up between the 16th and the 21st, and not on the 22nd. I do, of course, have other chairs I can sit in and work. It would in no way stop me from starting the job. But if I wanted to be more comfortable, having this chair put together would be fantastic. My daughter did get her learner's permit. She passed. Yay! Last time I talked about her staying up all night to get these 30 hours worth of online practice in, which she did manage to do, and pass the test. So she has her learner's permit. She drove a little bit for the first time a couple days ago out with my husband, just on a side road and in a parking lot. I didn't go. I was cooking dinner. He said she did excellent. And even though she was nervous, she did really well. So I called and I got the rest of her driving lessons scheduled. We've hired a driving instructor to come and help her do this. My husband's work hours aren't very conducive to her getting the number of hours of practice in. I don't drive on the interstate because of some stuff with my migraines. I can get vertigo, and I just don't feel comfortable with it. So Anyway, it made sense for us to have somebody else come in, step in and do some of this with her, so that we feel comfortable with her being out there on the road on her own. She'll also do some defensive driving courses. So anyway, she was excited, although we got in the car today and she said, Mom, when I went to go drive with Dad, he had me put it in reverse, and I just put it in reverse, looked out the front window, and went backwards. She didn't think about needing to look in the rearview mirror before she backed up. And she said, my husband said, Kit, stop, put it in park. She said, I need to look. And she goes, I need to look in the rearview mirror first. I said, yes, you do. She won't do that again. I think she was just really nervous and didn't think about it. And if that's why you learn to drive, you don't just get your license. That's why it's not everybody just doesn't get their license. You need to show you have some competency. So anyway, I thought that was hilarious. And she was terrified when she left the house. And she came back and things were okay. So anyway, she's got some driving practice ahead of her. Robotics season is continuing, which is part of the reason this is also being recorded in the evening. I will now be working, if things go as planned. You know, some movement in this is fine. But they asked what I would like my hours to be, and I said 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. With, you know, I probably will have to stick a lunch in there, which I didn't think about, so it might be to 1:30. But I have to have her robotics at 2 if possible, and it's a half hour from the house. So I will be getting up at 6 a.m., probably once training's done, and then working until 1 or 1:30 if things go as planned, and then grabbing a quick bite to eat and getting in the car and taking her over to robotics. And I'll be doing that a few days a week for sure. Thankfully, my husband can take care of it at least one of the days. And I think on Mondays, they typically don't have practice, at least right now, but that will probably ramp up the closer we get to competition. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Just, it's going to get really busy, but robotics means I don't have a lot of else to work on than knitting while I wait on her. So that part is nice. It does mean that we're rushing home and kind of throwing together dinners and that kind of stuff. But robotics is 100% worth it. She's learning so much through this program, and you know, as parents, we're definitely willing to sacrifice to have her be in it. So that's not really a big deal. And then of course, with this new job comes potentially in the next few months house shopping, which is overwhelming. So a little background. We moved to Arizona almost 2 years ago. And we moved in with my adult son, who had a house built where we're at right now, just outside of Phoenix. And it's just him in the house, and he travels a ton. And he was actually out of the country most of last year working on a project for work. So it was actually very convenient for us to be in his house because he was gone all the time. So we took care of the house. We made sure the yard looked good. You know, people weren't just going to come in and be here when he's not here and he wouldn't know it. We take care and love his cat while he travels, so his cat doesn't have to go off someplace else while he's gone. So it's just been kind of symbiotic that we've been able to be here while he was doing all this traveling for work. But now we're in a position where we just really are going to need more space. I need an office, I feel like, to do this job and not sacrifice my family's comfort, as in, you know, I'm in the front room. Sorry, somebody's music is very loud outside. They're just driving by. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's very loud. Anyway, I don't want to sacrifice my family's comfort because I'm working these early hours in a part of the house that's really pretty busy. I mean, it's the front room. When you come in the front door, you walk past the space. It doesn't have doors that close. It does have a wall between me and the kitchen, but it's a half wall. So, you know, when I'm working, everybody's going to hear me when I'm talking on Zoom. That's in the house at the time. My husband sleeps during the day, most of the day, because he has a job that operates from like 3 p.m. to 1 in the morning. So he's going to be asleep when I'm going to be in here talking on Zoom and working. He's going to leave the house for work. Sometimes, not always, probably in the middle of my working, and so it's just not the best setup. Additionally, my adult son probably wants his house back to himself. We've enjoyed all this time that we've gotten, dog. We've enjoyed having all this time we've gotten to spend with him, and I like that it worked out well that we could watch the house while he wasn't going to be able to be here, but he's an adult. He deserves to have his space. He does not necessarily deserve to have his parents and his teenage sister living in his 2 extra bedrooms. And he has been so gracious and so kind through this whole experience. But shortly it will be time for us to get our own house again now that we'll have 2 incomes. So, of course, what do? I get on Zillow. And I find the best house that I think we need right away. When I don't have a paycheck yet, guys. What am I doing on Zillow? I was there legitimately checking the housing market and seeing where things were. Because it's been 2 years, Chewy. The ice cream man is outside, and that is, you can hear the dog. Hush. Hush. Yes, it's January, and we have an ice cream man because we live in Arizona. So, hush. It's okay. So, anyway, he deserves to have his house back. We have been incredibly grateful that we've been able to stay here while we've been on 1 income and waiting, you know, for our daughter to be old enough to start driving herself places. So, I don't need to be that person anymore as much. Isn't that so loud? Surely you hear the ice cream man. It's so loud, and he drives so slow through our neighborhood. Anyway, dairy allergy, not having the ice cream. But I'm going to wrap this up, you guys. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you dealing with the scattered brainness, the no notes. I hope your couple weeks have gone great. I hope the next couple weeks are fantastic for you. And I will see you next time. Happy crafting!